Have you ever said something and instantly regretted it? Maybe in a meeting where you stumbled over your words. Maybe on a first date when you cracked a joke that fell flat. Or maybe during an interview when you had the perfect thought but couldn't say it clearly and watched the opportunity slip away. You're not alone. According to a 2024 LinkedIn study, communication is still ranked as the #1 most important skill in the workplace, yet more than 70% of professionals admit they struggle with it. Think about that. The majority of people know how to do the job, but they can't sell themselves. Here's the good news. Powerful communication isn't a gift you're born with. It's a skill. And like any skill, you can master it. In this audiobook, adapted from the fictional bestseller How to Speak Smart, Master the Psychology of Powerful Communication, we're going to uncover the 10 rules to speak smart. These rules will help you speak with clarity, confidence, and influence, whether you're at work with friends or posting online for the world to see. Stay with me until the end, because rule number 8 is the one that almost nobody talks about. Yet, it can make you instantly magnetic in any conversation. So let's dive in. Rule 1. Keep it clear and simple. Smart communication isn't about sounding complicated. It's about being clear. People respect clarity, not confusion. Steve Jobs was famous for this. When he introduced the iPod, he didn't say, a 5 gigabyte MP3 player with FireWire synchronization. He said, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Clear, simple, memorable. Today, practice simplifying your words. Take one idea you often explain, maybe your job, your project, or your hobby, and reframe it in one sentence that a 12-year-old could understand. Rule 2. Master the power of pauses. Nervous speakers rush. Smart speakers pause. Silence is not empty. It's powerful. Barack Obama used pauses masterfully in his speeches. He let key points land. He gave listeners time to absorb. That control made him sound confident and thoughtful. Next time you're in a conversation, deliberately pause for 2 to 3 seconds after making a point. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. Notice how people lean in instead of tuning out. Rule 3. Cut the filler words. Like, basically. These filler words weaken your message. Smart speakers minimize them. A young entrepreneur pitching on Shark Tank had a brilliant idea, but she filled every sentence with like and The sharks lost patience. Her idea wasn't bad, but her delivery killed it. Record yourself talking for 60 seconds. Count how many filler words you use. Then practice replacing them with silence. Over time, you'll sound sharper and more confident. Rule 4. Listen more than you speak. Smart communication isn't just talking, it's listening. People feel respected when they're heard, and respect creates influence. Elon Musk once said he spends much of his time listening, not talking. Why? Because listening gives you better information, which makes your words more impactful when you finally speak. In your next conversation, count to 3 before responding. This forces you to actually process what the other person said. They'll notice, and they'll respect you more. Rule 5. Match your body to your words. Communication is more than words. In fact, studies show that over 60% of communication is nonverbal. If your body language contradicts your words, people believe your body, not your mouth. Picture a manager saying, "I believe in you," while slouching, avoiding eye contact, and fidgeting with their hands. Do you believe them? Probably not. But if they sit tall, look you in the eye, and say it with calm conviction, suddenly you believe it. Practice aligning body and message. When you give a compliment, smile. When you state a fact, sit upright and hold eye contact. Don't let your body betray your words. Rule 6, storytelling for impact facts. Tell. Stories sell. People don't remember data. They remember stories. Martin Luther King Jr. could have said, "I want equal rights." Instead, he said, "I have a dream." That dream was a story. It painted a picture. And decades later, people still feel it. Even in business, storytelling works. A marketer doesn't just say, "Our shoes are comfortable." They tell the story of the runner who crushed their first marathon wearing them. Think of one idea you want to share this week. Instead of just stating it, frame it as a story. A beginning, a struggle, and a resolution. Recap. Part 1. We've covered the first half of the blueprint. 1. Clarity is power. 2. Eliminate filler words. 3. Use pauses and silence. 4. Master body language. 5. Storytelling for impact. Each of these makes your words stronger. Each one is a lever of influence. But we're just getting started. Cliffhanger. What's next? Because in Part 2, we'll reveal the hidden psychology of communication. You'll learn how to adapt your message to any audience, how to speak with confidence without arrogance, and how emotional intelligence makes you unforgettable. And I promise, rule number 7 will completely change how people see you in conversations. Rule 6. Adapt to your audience. Smart communicators don't speak the same way to everyone. They adjust their language, tone, and style to fit the room. Barack Obama could speak at Harvard Law in a highly intellectual tone, then walk into a barbershop in Chicago and use everyday language and still connect. That's why he inspired millions. Contrast that with the coworker who uses the same jargon-filled language in every situation. People tune out because they feel like you're not speaking to them. Before your next conversation, ask, who is my audience and what matters to them? If you're speaking to your boss, focus on results. If you're speaking to a friend, focus on feelings. Adaptation creates connection. Rule 7. Speak with confidence, not arrogance. Confidence attracts. Arrogance repels the difference. Confidence says, "I believe in my message." Arrogance says, "I'm better than you." Think of Elon Musk. When he speaks, he often pauses, looks down, even seems awkward. But his words carry conviction. He believes what he says. That's confidence. Now think of the coworker who constantly brags, interrupts, and makes everything about themselves. That's arrogance. People roll their eyes and stop listening. Stand tall, keep your voice steady, and look people in the eye. That's confidence. But also, listen, acknowledge others, and give credit. That keeps you from slipping into arrogance. Quick practice. Next time you share an idea, pair it with one phrase of humility, like, "Here's my perspective. I'd love your thoughts." Rule 8. Emotional intelligence in communication. Speaking smart isn't just about what you say. It's about reading the room, sensing emotions, and responding with empathy. That's emotional intelligence. Think of Oprah Winfrey. She built her empire not just by speaking, but by making people feel heard. She noticed emotions others missed, and she responded in ways that made her audience feel understood. That's why people trust her. In business, too, emotional intelligence is critical. A manager who ignores the stressed tone in their employee's voice misses the chance to connect. But one who notices and says, "I sense you're overwhelmed. Let's talk," builds loyalty. Practice noticing tone and body language. Ask yourself, what is this person really feeling? Then respond not just to their words, but to their emotions. A modern example, social media speaking. Here's how this applies to 2025. On TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts, you have 3 to 5 seconds to hook your audience. If you ramble, you lose them. If you adapt your tone, speak with confidence, and tap into emotion, you win attention. That's why creators like Gary Vaynerchuk and Ali Abdaal thrive. They adapt their delivery to the platform, they sound confident but humble, and they speak to emotions, not just logic. These are the same rules we're practicing right now. Cliffhanger. What's next? So far, you've learned how to adapt your message. Speak with confidence, not arrogance. Harness emotional intelligence, but in Part 3, we're raising the stakes because Rule 9 will teach you the psychology of persuasion, the strategies leaders use in politics, business, and even marketing to win people over. And Rule 10, it's the most powerful of all. It transforms communication from a skill into your identity. Comment below, speak smart, if you're ready, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. The power of influence. We've covered clarity, body language, confidence, and emotional intelligence. But here's the truth. Speaking smart isn't just about expressing yourself. It's about influencing others. Because words don't just communicate. They persuade, they inspire, they change decisions. And when you learn how to use them wisely, you become unforgettable. This is where we step into advanced communication. The final 2 rules are here, and they are the most powerful of all. Rule 9, persuasion and influence, psychology. To speak smart is to understand influence. People don't always make decisions logically. They make them emotionally, then justify with logic. If you want to move people, you need to understand the psychology of persuasion. Think about Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't stand on the steps of Washington and say, "We demand civil rights due to Article X, Section Y." He said, "I have a dream." That dream was emotional. It painted a picture of children holding hands. It wasn't logic that moved the world. It was vision. Or look at Apple. Their ads rarely say, "This phone has 12 gigabytes of RAM." They say, "Think different." They sell identity, not specs. Next time you want to persuade, ask yourself, what emotion is driving this decision? As then speak to that emotion. Logic supports. Emotion drives. The psychology of persuasion. 3 quick tools. 1. Social proof. People trust what others already trust. Example. That's why reviews and testimonials work. If others approve, we feel safe. 2. Scarcity. People value what feels rare. Example. Only 2 seats left makes you act faster. 3. Authority. We trust people who sound credible. Example. When a doctor speaks about health, we listen. Smart speakers use these tools responsibly. They don't manipulate. They inspire action by aligning with people's needs and emotions. Practice one persuasion principle this week. Maybe you share a story of someone else succeeding, social proof, or you emphasize why acting now matters, scarcity, or you highlight your experience authority. Rule 10. Make speaking your identity. Here's the ultimate rule. Speaking smart isn't just something you do. It's who you are. When you identify as someone who communicates powerfully, it changes everything. You don't just try to be clear. You are clear. You don't just remember to use body language. You embody it. Look at leaders like Nelson Mandela or Maya Angelou. They weren't just good speakers. They were communicators by identity. Their words flowed naturally because they saw themselves as voices that mattered. Say this out loud. I am a powerful communicator. I speak with clarity. I speak with influence. I speak smart. Then write it in the comments. I am a communicator, because identity is built by repetition and declaration. Quick challenge. Which of these last two rules hits you hardest, persuasion or identity? Drop it below. And if this audiobook has been valuable, smash that like button and subscribe, because Part 4 is where everything comes together into one system. Cliffhanger, what's coming? In Part 4, we've now covered all 10 rules. 1. Clarity is power. 2. Eliminate filler words. 3. Use pauses and silence. 4. Master body language. 5. Storytelling for impact. 6. Adapt to your audience. 7. Speak with confidence, not arrogance. 8. Emotional intelligence. 9. Persuasion and influence. 10. Make speaking your identity. But here's the thing. Rules by themselves are just pieces. In Part 4, we'll connect them into one powerful communication system, a daily practice you can use to master communication in every area of life. Comment, speak smart, if you're ready for the system, because Part 4 is the climax, where your words turn into your superpower. The climax, here we are. We've walked through all 10 rules, from clarity to confidence to persuasion and identity. But now comes the most important part, how to put it all together. Because knowing 10 rules doesn't matter if you don't live them. Speaking smart isn't theory, it's practice, it's action, it's daily. So in this final part, I'm going to give you the powerful communication system, the way to make these rules part of who you are. And then we'll close with something even bigger, why your voice is your power and why speaking smart can change not only your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. Let's go. The system. How to live the 10 rules. Here's how to practice every day. 1. Morning clarity drill. Start each day by explaining one idea simply, like you're talking to a 12-year-old. 2. Filler-free minute. Record yourself for 60 seconds on your phone. Spot and cut filler words. 3. Pause. Practice. During one conversation today, pause for 2 to 3 seconds before replying. 4. Mirror check. Watch your body language in the mirror or on video. Shoulders back, eyes steady. 5. 1-minute story. Share one story with a friend or colleague today. 6. Audience check. Before any interaction, ask, who's my audience? And adjust your tone. 7. Confidence. Phrase, speak your idea clearly, then add humility. That's my take. What do you think? 8. Emotion scan. Notice the other person's tone and body language. Ask, what are they really feeling? 9. Persuasion test. When presenting an idea, highlight emotion first, then support with logic. 10. Identity. Affirmation. Every night, say aloud, I am a communicator. My words matter. That's the daily system. 10 rules, 10 practices, one powerful communicator. Story. How this system transforms lives. Let me tell you about Marcus, a 28-year-old from Atlanta. He worked in IT, brilliant at his job, but invisible in meetings. Every time he spoke, he mumbled, filled with, avoided eye contact. And he watched colleagues with less knowledge rise above him because they spoke better. One day, he decided, enough. He practiced these rules daily. At first, it was awkward. His pauses felt too long. His stories felt clumsy. But week by week, something shifted. His colleagues started listening. His boss started trusting him more. He got invited to lead client presentations. Fast forward a year, Marcus was promoted. Not because he suddenly became smarter, but because he became a communicator. That's the difference. Your voice opens doors. The psychology behind this. Why does this system work? Because communication rewires how people see you. Humans are wired to judge credibility, confidence, and trustworthiness in seconds. If your words are clear, your pauses controlled, your body strong, your empathy real, people trust you. They follow you. They remember you. That's the hidden truth. Smart speaking is not just about sounding good. It's about building influence and shaping how people see you forever. Quick challenge. Which of these 10 practices will you start today? Write it in the comments. The bigger why. Your voice is your power. Think about history. Martin Luther King Jr. had a voice that sparked a movement. Oprah Winfrey has a voice that built an empire. Elon Musk has a voice that sold a vision of Mars. But it's not just about famous people. Your voice matters in your world. The words you say to your children, the way you speak to your partner, the clarity you bring to your team. Every time you speak smart, you shift the way others see themselves and the world. That's power. When you think about it, every moment in life is a stage. Not just the big speeches, not just the TED Talks or the boardroom presentations, but the hallway conversation, the coffee shop chat, the quick video you post on TikTok. Every time you open your mouth, you're either building credibility or losing it. That's why speaking smart is so much more than a skill. It's leverage. It multiplies opportunities. It makes people say, I want to work with them, I want to follow them, I want to hear them again. And here's the thing, in 2025, attention is the currency. People scroll fast, they swipe away without guilt. If you can't make your words land in the first 5 seconds, you're gone. That's why clarity, confidence, and presence matter more than ever. Think about your favorite creators online, the ones who pull you in immediately. They don't waste time with weak openers. They know how to hook. They know how to pause. They know how to use one sharp sentence that makes you stop scrolling. That's speaking smart in the modern world. A story from the workplace of 2025. Let me give you a scenario. Samantha works in a hybrid office in Austin. Half her team is in the room, half on Zoom. The old way of communicating, rambling through updates, drowning in jargon, doesn't work anymore. People mute, check email, zone out. But Samantha does something different. She applies what you've been learning. She starts her update with one clear sentence. Here's the problem we solved this week. Faster onboarding for new clients. She pauses. Then she adds one story. On Monday, a client told me it used to take 3 weeks to set up. Now, it took 3 days. Instantly, the team leans in. Even the ones on Zoom stop multitasking. Why? Because she used clarity, story, and pause. Speaking smart turned another boring update into a moment of influence. And by the end of the quarter, she's the one asked to lead the new project. Same company, same role, different results, because her voice stood out. Influence in micro moments. We often imagine influence as big, dramatic speeches, but it lives in micro moments. It's when you speak up in a meeting and say the one thing everyone else was circling around but couldn't put into words. It's when you're in a tough personal conversation and instead of reacting with emotion, you breathe, pause, and choose one calm sentence that shifts the energy. It's when you're asked on the spot, "What do you think?" And instead of rambling, you say something sharp and concise that makes people nod. These are the moments that build reputations. Let me ask you this. What's the next micro moment coming up in your life? A team check-in? A coffee chat with your boss? A date? A video you're about to record? Drop it in the comments right now. My next speaking moment is to say it out loud. Put it in writing. Because once you know it, you can prepare for it. The power of framing. Smart communicators frame the conversation. Framing means setting the lens through which people hear your words. You don't just speak into the air, you set the context first. A manager might start a meeting with, "Let's brainstorm ideas." Fine. But another manager might frame it as, "Today, we're not here to judge ideas. We're here to generate as many as possible, because one of them could change the business." Same meeting, completely different energy. Leaders understand this. If you frame the conversation, you own it. Quick challenge. Think of one upcoming conversation in your life. How can you frame it before you speak? Write it in the comments. I'll frame my conversation with negotiation and speaking. Smart negotiation is another arena where smart speaking pays off. Chris Voss, former FBI hostage negotiator, says, "He who has the most control of the conversation has the most control of the outcome." And control doesn't come from shouting louder. It comes from choosing words with precision. Imagine you're negotiating a raise. Instead of saying, "I think I deserve more," you say, "Based on the results I've delivered, increasing revenue by 15% this quarter, how can we adjust my compensation to reflect that?" See the difference? The first sounds like a plea. The second sounds smart, confident, undeniable. In 2025, with layoffs, hybrid roles, and AI changing the job market, negotiation is everywhere. And the people who win are the ones who can speak smart in high-stakes moments. The TikTok effect. Let's talk about the TikTok and YouTube world for a second. Millions of people are posting, but the ones who rise, the ones who go viral, the ones who build influence, they know rule one better than anyone. Clarity is power. They don't start with, "Hey guys, so today I'm just going to talk a little bit about." They start with, "Here's why your resume is being ignored." Or, "If you want more confidence, stop doing this." Clear, direct, smart. And because of that, millions stop scrolling. So let me ask, if you were to record a 30-second video right now, what's the first sentence you'd use? Would it make people stop? Would it make people listen? Type it below. One sentence. Make it sharp. Make it smart. The compounding effect of communication. Here's a powerful metaphor. Communication compounds like interest. Every clear, smart, intentional interaction you have adds a little trust credit in someone's mind. One conversation might not change your life, but 100 conversations consistently smart build a reputation that opens doors you didn't even know existed. It's like money in the bank. Every time you pause, every time you tell a story, every time you adapt to your audience, you're depositing into your credibility account. And over time, those deposits turn into opportunities. Think about it. 5 years of smart speaking versus 5 years of sloppy speaking. Who do you become? Where do you end up? Visualization exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine. You're about to walk into your next big moment, maybe a pitch, maybe an interview, maybe a conversation that matters to you. See yourself pause before you speak. Shoulders back, eyes steady. One vivid sentence lands like a spark. The room shifts. People listen. You feel the confidence rise in your chest because you know you're in control. This isn't fantasy. This is what happens when you practice speaking smart. Micro story, a day in the life. Let's run through one ordinary day made extraordinary by speaking smart. Morning, you're in a team stand-up. Instead of rambling, you say one clear sentence about progress, then pause. Your colleagues nod. You've framed the day. Afternoon, a tough personal conversation. Emotions are high. Instead of snapping, you pause, breathe, and say, I hear you. Let's figure this out. The tension eases. Evening, you record a 30-second video. You start with a sharp hook. One small story, you post it. By the next day, 100 people have liked it, and one person messages you saying it helped them. 3 moments, 3 wins, none of them huge. But stack them day after day, and your entire life changes. Your next conversation. Here's the challenge. Pick one conversation coming up today. It could be at work, at home, or online. Decide right now how you'll speak smarter in that moment. Maybe you'll use a pause. Maybe you'll tell a one-sentence story. Maybe you'll just eliminate fillers. Doesn't matter which. What matters is that you act. Write it in the comments. My next conversation is, and describe it in a few words. Declare your intention. And if you're serious about making this your year of communication, hit like, hit subscribe. Not for me, for you. To signal to yourself, I'm committed to speaking smarter this year. Escalation to the close. Because here's the truth. Once you feel that shift, once you see the room listening, the conflict easing, the idea landing, you'll never want to go back. You'll realize your words are not just sounds. They're tools, they're weapons, they're bridges. And that's when the real transformation begins. You'll know exactly what comes next. Motivational close. So here's the choice. You can keep stumbling through conversations, letting others outshine you, regretting what you said, or you can master these 10 rules. 1. Be clear. 2. Cut the fillers. 3. Pause with power. 4. Align body and words. 5. Tell stories. 6. Adapt to your audience. 7. Speak with confidence, not arrogance. 8. Use emotional intelligence. 9. Influence with psychology. 10. Make speaking your identity. Your voice is your power, and the moment you choose to speak smart is the moment people start to listen. 5 years from now, you'll look back. You'll either say, that was the day I started speaking smart, or you'll regret that you didn't. Which story will you tell? And final call to action. Drop a comment, speak smart. If you're committed, like this video if these rules resonated. Subscribe so you don't miss the next audiobook. Share this with one person who needs it. Because communication isn't just about you. It's about the impact your words have on others. What topic should we cover next? Confidence, discipline, influence. Tell me in the comments. Because this is just the beginning.